Hi everyone, it's Dr. Hudgens. I am done grading your week 7 work and I have posted feedback for you within Blackboard. You guys are doing a great job. Was lots of really good ideas when the assignment was to have you really consider what servant leadership looked like through the lens of a specific position within an organization. And the second part of it was to think about what types of things within servant leadership, within your own leadership practice, that filled your chalice. And we talk about things that renew your energy or create a sense of purposefulness or value for you within your practice. So many great ideas about how to refill your chalice or refill your well. Many of you talked about self-care, emotional care, stress management. A few of you talked about what it meant to have good health and nutrition, so making sure that you ate, making sure that you rested. A few of you explored the ideas of the importance of being mentored, or the feedback from colleagues or from people that were on your team, that them telling you that you're valued and appreciated helped kind of re-energize you and fill your chalice. Several of you really took to heart what it meant to be a servant leader and that role in walking in your faith and being obedient to God's will by serving as a nurse and seeing it as a mission or a mission field, that innately created a sense of value for you, and that when you were reminded of God's purpose in your life to serve as a nurse or a nurse leader, that filled your chalice. Wherever you are on the spectrum, I hope that you really took some time to think about how you would keep yourself energized and engaged in your profession. We know that research tells us between 40 and 50% of all brand new graduates will leave their position in the first year that they practice. So those are brand new graduates. The rate for failed retention of new nurse leaders or nurse leaders that are in that middle layer runs, depending on the statistics you look at, runs between 40 and 60%. So that says, on average, about half of you will not stay in a leadership position because you're worn out, because you don't feel valued, because you don't feel engaged by your organization or your leadership. So that really does mean that we need to think intentionally about how we stay excited about what we do, how we keep our energy levels elevated by really taking good care of ourselves physically, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness you all had in discussing that exercise. The assignment for next week, I think, are the wrap-ups of your Practicum Log 3. You're going to put that in there. And you've all been given lots of feedback on the things you need to work on, so make sure that your last log is reflective of the feedback that you were given in Log 1 and 2. If you have struggled in Log 1 and 2, make sure, if you're not clear about what's expected, that you send me an email or you touch base so I can make sure that you're up to speed and where you need to be. Your last paper, the Spiritual Philosophies paper, you're asked to synthesize different concepts. Make sure that you are not just explaining your concepts, that you're taking the time to explain how the spiritual philosophies that are provided by the two authors are compared and contrasted, and that you give a synthesis of those information. If you're synthesizing information, your paper will not be unreasonably long. Remember, when you put synthesized information together, you're talking about how they're similar, how they're different, and exploring those concepts, not just defining them and giving me a summary of each author's position. You're showing the relationship between those two authors' work. So make sure you take the time to really spend some time thinking about those things. The last thing, from an APA standpoint, you guys are doing great things, really applying the knowledge to improve your use of level headings, your in-text citations. Reference lists look great. There isn't one single error that I see from an APA standpoint. From a writing standpoint, one of the challenges I see many writers struggle with is how to properly use biblical verses in a context of a paper. Sometimes you're reading a section of your paper and you're thinking about a topic, and you remember a great verse, and you put it in your paper without giving it a framework to stand on. And when I read it, I can sort of understand what I think you meant by it. But it's important that when you use a citation from the Bible, or any citation, that you give it context for meaning. One of your classmates, Angel Lynn, did a really good job of giving context to a Bible verse. So instead of just putting in the Bible verse and just putting it in quotes and dropping it into a paragraph, she actually gave it structure. And I'm going to read this example to you so you have an understanding of what I'm looking for. The financial future of the organizations requires that all leaders are fiscally responsible. In order to maintain focus, Christian servant leaders can refer to this Bible passage to remind them of their call to service. Galatians 5:13, "For you, brethren, have been called to liberty. Only do not use liberty as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another." This verse is such an important reminder to keep Christians focused on the plan God created for our lives while aligning the organization's mission and staff. Moreover, it is a helpful reminder to the responsibility of grounding ourselves. That's a great example of perfectly applied biblical reasoning within the context of a structured paragraph. Folks, that's graduate level writing, and that's really our goal for you when you start applying new concepts or synthesizing information, is that you're pulling it together and giving a good explanation for why an author's writing is relevant. And certainly our Holy Bible is highly relevant. So I think Angel Lynn did a really nice job of giving us an example to explore, to kind of give you some idea of what we're looking for when you're applying a biblical verse. So that's it from an APA writing standpoint. For next week, I want to remind you, I sent this in my email this morning just for your verses, that I have extended your due date. I'm giving you the extension of the weekend, so until Sunday at 11:59 p.m., which would be a traditional 8-week time frame. I'm going to give you the weekend to finish up your writing. I know how busy your lives are and how hectic things can be, and this last week is pretty heavy with wrapping up that practicum log as well as your final paper. So I want to give you as much grace and time as I possibly can. I'm going to be busy with Liberty University stuff with graduation this weekend, so I won't be looking at it anyway. So there's no reason for you to rush and put it in a box just for it to sit. Know that I'm here, folks. I will not do a feedback video for week 8 because by then you will be celebrating and the course will be over. If there's anything specific, I will of course give you feedback on your assignment, but you will not get another video from me. So know that it has been my pleasure watching you grow and reading your writing. Know that I'm here to support your endeavors, not just with this course, but in future ones. Know that I'm here. If you have any questions or concerns, touch base. I hope you guys are well. Have a wonderful week. Take care.